Welcome to the Gita in Action podcast. My name's Radha, and I'm here with our regular family of seekers. And we're reading through the Gita, text by text, together, and sharing our insights and its relevance to our lives. And I was talking to somebody this week who listens to the podcast regularly, and she was saying everybody on there is just so intelligent. She was saying that. It's like, we're so blessed, Krishna really put together a nice group for us here and in our live podcast. And so if any of you want to join, I, everybody is welcome. And you can join and share, or you can join and just listen. So whatever works for you. We meet Monday, Thursdays at 7:30 a.m. And yeah, you can text me for the links. You can email seekersquest108@gmail.com, and I'll send you the links. So please come. And the last thing I want to share before we get into it is our registration for our women's retreat is officially open. And it did fill up last year, so it will probably fill up. So I would recommend booking your ticket if you haven't already. We have all different choices of rooms this year, so we have all different price points. I think our cheapest is it's like a $340, and it's Thursday through Sunday, so it's an extra day this year. It's an extra day. It's a 3-day retreat, and yeah, please come, please book. It's gonna be amazing. So these the women's retreat last year just like completely blew me away. The energy that a powerful group of women bring when they come together, it's just like it was something else, right? Right, ladies who came?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was next level. So please come and join us and for a spiritual retreat weekend. Yeah, so today we are going to finish. Oh, I should tell you how to register. Go to the New Vrindavan website. That's the easiest way. You can also text me for the links. But the easiest way is to go to the New Vrindavan website. Just type in New Vrindavan, West Virginia. It'll come up. Click on events. It's on there. And that's how you register. Okay, so today we're finishing the 8th chapter of the Gita. So we are on chapter 8, text 27 is where we're going to start. And again, this chapter is largely about remembering Krishna and remembering Krishna specifically at the time of death. And so we've been talking about death a lot, actually, and it's been very sobering for many of us. And we're going to conclude the chapter today, and that'll get us ready for the 9th chapter, which is titled The Most Confidential Knowledge. And this is like the heart of bhakti, this next chapter we're going to be going into. So today we're kind of preparing for that. So before we get into it, Stella, can you say our prayers for us today?
Sure. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jana Jana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Panchakopa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Hare Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
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 Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Oh, nice. Thank you. You know, what I love about this group, it just came to my mind, like even more than how intelligent and insightful you are, all are, is just how big your hearts are. I can hear it in your voice and your energies on Zoom. And I love this group for that. I love this group for that. So,
We get it
okay.
from you.
No, no, no. I get it from you guys. I get it from you guys. Okay, let's start with text 27. I'll share my screen. And Stella, when you're ready, if you could read text 27 for us.
Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, They are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion.
Yeah. So if we remember, what was happening in the last section was Krishna was comparing the paths of Ashtanga yoga and Bhakti yoga. And when he says, although these devotees know these two paths, this is referring to the different ways that the different destinations for the Ashtanga yogi, based off of how evolved they are in their consciousness, and in that, like when they leave their bodies, and we were talking about, how precise the process, the leaving process has to be. They have to get everything just right so that they leave their bodies at the right time so that they reach a spiritual destination. And so when this verse is saying, although the devotees know these two paths, that's the two paths it's referring to here. The paths of the soul when it leaves the body for the Ashtanga yogi. But he's saying they're never bewildered. Therefore, always be fixed in devotion. Right? So after describing these two cosmic paths, one of light and one of darkness, Krishna's now, he's bringing everything home. He's saying, even though the devotees understand these paths, they're not bewildered by them, because a devotee doesn't need to rely on perfect timing or technical mastery. So what he's saying here, Krishna's saying, just stay connected to me through devotion. And this is like such a relief, right? It's like that it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so precise. It doesn't have to be so perfect. It just has to be heartfelt. That's what Krishna's looking for. He's looking for our hearts. And again, in this point in the Gita, he's been comparing these different spiritual approaches, the path of meditation and the path of devotion. And so he's saying now, Arjuna, don't get lost in all these technical details about timing, light, darkness, celestial routes. Just fix your mind on me, and that's all that really matters. And you can imagine for Arjuna, this has got to be a relief. He's on a battlefield. He's not like sitting in a cave somewhere, not meditating on his breath for years at a time. He's getting ready to fight this war. And even if he survives this war, he'll be burdened with all the responsibilities of ruling a kingdom. So in that, how could he possibly master the precise timing of death or the complex meditations described for yogis? And many of us can relate to this. I mean, not his exact circumstances, but life is so chaotic. It's just not practical to go sit in a cave somewhere. I mean, and most of us don't even have the discipline to do that, and the level of renouncement that requires. So Arjuna is concerned here, and he doesn't say it out loud, but Krishna knows what's in his heart. And he already expressed similar doubts in the sixth chapter. If we remember, he admitted how difficult it is to control the mind. And then Krishna reassured him that success is possible when one follows the right process. And then towards the end of the sixth chapter, Krishna sums it up clearly. He says, of all yogis, the one who always remembers me with love and faith is the best. So in this chapter, in 827, now he's circling back to that same message. After describing this intricate paths of light and darkness, he's telling Arjuna, the devotee doesn't have to worry about any of that. You don't even have to worry about all this. For one who practices bhakti yoga, everything becomes simple. There's no need to calculate auspicious times or fear inauspicious ones. When the heart's connected to Krishna, the path itself becomes illuminated. So Krishna's saying, remember me internally and serve me externally. Remember me internally and serve me externally. That's enough. No complicated rituals, no mental gymnastics, just sincere remembrance. That's the beauty of bhakti. It takes something that feels mystical and it makes it accessible. And it reminds us we don't have to escape the world. We just have to spiritualize it. We have to do everything with Krishna in mind. When we practice bhakti yoga, we make the most real and lasting progress. It's not theoretical, it's personal, it's alive, it's full of love. Because the highest yoga, it's not about regulation, it's about relationship. And I have to tell you guys something. I lately okay, my husband really likes Taylor Swift. And I've always liked Taylor Swift. Lately, like we've always listened to Taylor Swift a lot together. Lately, he'll be putting it on because my daughter also likes to dance. So he'll put it on and she'll, dance. She'll like bounce up and down. It's really cute. But lately, it's like I can only listen to so much of it. And I'm like, I need to listen to spiritual music. And not even because like I feel like I should. Like I used to do it because I felt like I should. But I'm noticing that it's like I just crave the spiritual music. And when the spiritual music comes on, I feel so much lighter and better. It's like I can feel when I listen to, Taylor Swift, like the passion. I can feel like kind of getting in that material mode of passion. And then when I turn on kirtan, it's like, oh, okay, I'm back home now. I feel just like light and happy. And this is the path. This is bhakti yoga. And it feels like that. It feels light. It feels happy. It feels because we're connected, because it's reminding us of our connection. And when we remember our connection, we feel joyful. And when we listen to kirtan or something and it doesn't do that, that's okay. It just means that we have a little bit more conditioning to undo, to not undo, but conditioning to kind of work through. And the more that we stick to the practice of bhakti, the more that we come back again and again. We chant, we do these spiritual practices to remember. Eventually, it will kind of latch on, and it'll be what we'll want to do more and more. We'll want to do more of that than things that remind us of our material identities, because we'll be so firmly fixed in that's just what feels good and natural. So and it's beautiful. It along the path and the destination is full of love and light and joy. So that's what um that's what bhakti's about. Uh, So here Krishna's saying, don't worry about the timing, just stay connected. And sometimes we worry, what if I'm trying, but at the time of death I forget Krishna? What if I fail the final test? Who brought this up in the last class? Suktai. She said she had kind of an episode where she thought, anything could happen. And she remembered Krishna, but her fear was it was difficult. It was difficult to kind of channel that remembrance. But Krishna's saying here, he's saying, don't be afraid. If we remembered him throughout our lives, even imperfectly, he will remember us perfectly. He doesn't forget the heart behind our efforts. He remembers our prayers, our chanting, our small acts of devotion, and he carries us forward on their strength. So even if our mind slips, Krishna doesn't. He never abandons his devotee. When we do what we can, Krishna does what we can't. And that's what we call this divine cooperation. When we do what we can, Krishna does what we can't. So our job isn't to obsess over the end. It's just to stay sincere in the present, to do what's in our power and trust that Krishna will take care of the rest. Does anybody want to share anything before we move on? Is anything coming up for anybody that you want to share? We can keep going.
I like it what you said.
Yes.
We
Yes.
do what we can, and Krishna does what we can't.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a nice thing. We don't
Yeah.
even realize that all throughout our life.
Right. It's like look up divine cooperation in Webster. That's what it's going to
Yes.
say. I mean, it's probably not, but that's what it should say. That's divine
Correct.
cooperation. It's so nice because we're not on our
Yes,
own. We don't have to act like we're on our own. We don't have to feel like we're on our own. It's so nice. Krishna always
it
has
is.
our back. It's like imagine going through life with that level of realization. Many of you have like great spouses here, and so you always feel supported and like somebody has your back, right? But this is like on another level of that.
Yes. Yes,
It's
absolutely.
like everything that's going on in our lives is it's divinely arranged. Krishna has our back. It's so nice. And then what better people we can be when we have that, when we know that we have that level of love and support in our lives. Imagine
Right.
what that does for us. Again, we see this in relationships. It brings out the best in you when you feel loved and supported. But imagine when you feel loved and supported by the divine. what that can bring out in you. You know, and this is what we see in great saints, people that are so compassionate, people that are so loving, people that are so steady. This is what happens when we fall in love with God and we let him be our best friend. We let him lead our lives. What do you think, Katie?
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, friend. Sorry, friends. Um, yeah, I was just thinking how amazing it is, how Krishna provides divine timing when we're questioning timing,
Yeah.
and like how um it's so nice how different classes throughout our week and like different thoughts weave in together. Like sometimes I'll miss part of a class and then listen to it later, and I'm like, what the heck? If I had heard that 2 days, like that's it's just so amazing. And it made me think of how like our um, realizations that help us not dwell on timing or material things are such a practice for like our intention towards our like final destination and how we're wanting to remember Krishna all the time. So that's what we can, remember at the time of death. Um, yeah, it was just making me think how like tangible are the path that Krishna provides. They're like little practice rounds, and yeah, and how like we need to keep repeating lessons, and that's okay.
Mm,
So it just kind of made me think of those things. Thanks.
yes. Beautiful reflections. Thank you, Katie. Nice to hear from you. Stella, do you have something you want to share?
Um, Kalachanti has.
Oh, I thought
Yay.
just it's all about relationships, you said, and
Mm,
that to me that's just like that's it. That's everything. And yeah, I was in the classroom teaching for 40 years. That was my entire teaching philosophy. That was it, beginning to end. That I felt if I could build relationships between students and their texts, what they're reading, between students and each other, and between students and the teacher, everything else would happen naturally. And we don't, it's not like we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to follow this or that. But if we build a relationship, it all just happens. So I thought that was perfect. Thank you.
yes. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing. It's so good to hear from you. Yeah, and it's so beautiful what that does for our consciousness, that relationship. It's I was just thinking this morning actually, like, have you guys ever text somebody and they don't text you back? And when they don't text you back, you're like feeling like, oh, do they not like me anymore? Are they mad at me? Like you get so like spun up into this story of like, why I haven't heard from this person when I text them 4 days ago, you know? And I was just thinking, when we really trust Krishna and we text somebody and they don't text us back, it's like and we can really realize this, like it's Krishna's plan. It's we don't have to get so fixed up on the person because we trust so much that Krishna's guiding our lives that whether or not this person responds to us or it's Krishna's plan. So it's we don't have to take anything personally. This is just like an example in my own life when I see even again like kind of my own transformation in the way I view this. Like where I used to get so stuck on that. It's like it doesn't even cross my mind anymore. It's like, oh, okay, that's Krishna will, arrange a meeting when it's time and I guess it's not right now. No problem. It's like, whew, weight off your shoulders. So these are just like small things that as we develop this realization, and I'm sure many of you have similar kind of stories, as we develop this or experiences, when this realization deepens in us, it just makes life more peaceful and happy and joyful. It's like we don't sweat the small things anymore because we have this level of trust. Stella, you have a thumbs up. Do you have a similar?
Yeah, just noticing when it's God's arrangement,
Hmm.
like whether it's negative or positive, like, somebody comes into your day, and just pausing to think, what is what's the arrangement here? Like, I don't know, I think about, it's not the way I, like at work, I just think, well, the way that happened was God's arrangement. Just
Mm.
trying to remember, like you were saying, God has a plan, and to try to jump on opportunities that you feel, um, is a good time to say something, that this person came in front of you at that moment, and I should take advantage of that. God arranged that. So what can happen here? Like, I don't know, it's just a frame of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And also knowing like my tendency is to be an over controller. So like being able to kind of step back a little bit and be more of an observer of your life than so much a participant, such that you kind of allow more of God's grace in as things are kind of aligning. Hey, does that make sense? That's like my practice because I'm an overdoer. But either way, whether we're not jumping on opportunities or we're forcing them, it's whatever your circumstances, whatever your, natural default. It's just recognizing that and allowing God in for whatever that means in that circumstance. Yeah. So nice. Thank you. Oh, we have a couple hands here. Shakti and then Maria.
Hey, Krishna, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm late.
We
Um,
missed you.
yeah, here's the funny thing, right? So I have a Prabhupada disciple that's staying in my house because he for a few days, a week, maybe. And yesterday I'm downstairs, doing my morning program with like my phone and the recording and the singing. And then this morning he says to me, "Do you want to do the morning program together?" And I'm like because like you said, like it's like right in front of me, and instead of like saying like here's this like wealth of knowledge, this person who can teach me, show me, I could do an actual arti morning program in my home with someone who knows how to do it all, and I don't even I don't ask, I don't want to offend, I don't want to whatever. And he's like, you know no, I mean, of course, yes, let's do it. And so that's why I was late. And I'm like, let's do it every day. Like it's because it's like a morning program in my own home. That will be something that will radiate with my deities, with my little temple that I have. It'll be something every time I sit down in front of it, I'll remember that. It'll be like a samskara that'll be like so strong that and it's not something and of course I wouldn't ask. I shouldn't offend. I don't want to ask. And then he's like, well, no, of course, let's do this. I'm always doing it by myself. And I'm like, and it's like always like our mind is, or at least my mind is always like, why didn't they answer me back? What's going on?
Mm,
Why is he not? He doesn't want to do the morning program. Why doesn't he come down when I'm here? Instead of just
mm,
like, opening my mouth, yes, Krishna's arrangement, exactly. And I thought of it when I was down there. I'm like, and I just looked up and I was like, he's not up there, but I look up. I'm like, thank you, Krishna. I'm like, wow, what a gift, right?
mm.
And it's like, yeah, that's it. I want to let Maria,
Yes.
what a gift.
What a gift. Thank you, Shakti. So nice. Maria, I'm curious.
Well, there's a couple of things. Boy, you're really helping me this morning. Okay, yes, I have a storage locker and I'm trying to get rid of a few things that are still in there. And I need a junk dealer. So I called a junk dealer and I called him twice yesterday and he said, oh, yeah, I'm going to get back to you. And then he never did. And so I'm like, oh, do I have to figure out something different? But you're right. It's all divine. It's all in Krishna's hands, not to be worried about. And
Yeah.
you were talking about relationship, divine relationship. And I was just thinking about my Nona, my mother's mother, because no matter where she went, she created family, divine family. She'd go to a doctor's office and people were all in their own little worlds, not talking. And suddenly she'd just open up where everybody was talking to each other in like a divine family relationship. So I always said she was like a walking heart chakra.
Hmm. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, and that comes from Krishna, right? That ability to do that, that comes from Krishna. That is divine love manifesting in front of us. Yeah, so nice. Thank you. So when we talk about remembrance, the, the best way we talked about, we don't have to go out into the forest and meditate. You just have to keep doing your duties, but remember Krishna. And the best way to remember Krishna is to be engaged in his service. And when we hear service, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be out doing something for someone else. Service for Krishna, it can be, I think Kalachandri has said this before, showing up to this class, hearing about God, chanting God's names, associating with devotees. Just any of these things is service. And what to speak of, what our obligations, when we can start to dovetail them, right? When we can dovetail our responsibilities with Krishna's will. When you can raise your children in God consciousness, in a way that helps them develop a relationship with God. When we do these things, when we can approach our work, when we can approach our marriage in a way that aligns with Krishna's will, our path to the spiritual world becomes safe, certain, and direct. This is how you get your ticket. This is how you get your ticket. This is the meaning. This verse is yoga yukta, to be firmly fixed in yoga by being fully connected to God in everything that we do. That's the goal of life, and that's how you get the ticket to the train to the spiritual world. That's how we do it. And Srila Rupa Goswami, this great saint, explains that a devotee lives in this world without attachment, but using everything in God's service. So you don't have to renounce anything. You can keep your house, you can keep your car, you can keep all your things. But this is the balanced spirit of what we call yukta Viagra, right? Renunciation through connection. This leads to perfection. A person living in this consciousness isn't disturbed by the complexities of life or the uncertainty of death because they know their passage to the spiritual world is already guaranteed through devotional service. And in this, whatever we have, we're using it in God's service. We know it's not mine. It's not mine to use for my own, desires and whatever I think, whatever I'm wanting. No, it's God's. And in that, I'll offer it back to God. I'll use it in God's service. And in doing that, we develop a little less attachment to it. This is how devotees develop detachment. It doesn't have to be cold. It doesn't have to be, lonely. It's just we give everything back to God. And in that, we realize slowly we realize, this isn't really for me. And this isn't really something, this isn't really for me to enjoy. And it's sweet because we see that we get so much more enjoyment when we use it in God's service. That's what actually fills our heart. It's like a deeper level it's like a more sophisticated level of enjoyment because it fills our hearts when we use it in Krishna's service. We don't use it just for ourselves. So in that way, the devotee develops detachment, and it comes through connection. It's quite beautiful. It's quite beautiful. And we see somebody who exemplified this perfectly is this other saint who actually brought this knowledge to America, Srila Prabhupada. He was like almost 70 years old, and he got on a cargo ship. He left the holy city, and he got on a cargo ship, came to America. He had no money, he had no support network, he had no assurance of success. He just had this burning desire to share this message with the world. And he could have chosen to stay in this ideal place, peacefully preparing for his death, but instead he chose the ideal path of service. And that was what he dedicated the rest of his life to. He carried the essence of these holy cities, this love, devotion, remembrance, into the hearts of people everywhere. And when his mission was complete, then he returned to the holy city to leave this world surrounded by his disciples and still teaching them how to live and how to die in God consciousness. So for him, serving God was perfection. And because of that, even dying while serving was glorious. And that's the heart of a true devotee. Let me keep serving. Let me keep fighting for Krishna until my very last breath. Arjuna is a perfect example of this on the battlefield. This should be our mentality. Whatever we're doing, let me do it for Krishna. And this is how to get the ticket to the spiritual world. What do you guys think of that?
I like what you said, that everything, the house, the bank balance, the clothes, everything, if we try to use it in the service of God, automatically it becomes joy.
Mm,
In it becomes a joy. I mean, initially when we first hear this, oh, we think this is all mine. But when we use it in the service of God, you know how everything changes
mm,
and bring some peace, the joy. And before this, when you talked about, you know, how it doesn't matter what people are saying. So we have in our family they make a big thing about Thanksgiving, you know, how everybody has to go and there is so much variety of food and all that. And 10 years ago, okay, I used to like that, being with the family. And of course, they all enjoyed my company because I'm always cleaning and helping, and I'm not just sitting anywhere and taking pictures of everybody. So now, since last 3 years, I don't want to go. I don't feel like going. And I used to be scared, like, oh, they're going to get mad at me and all that. But you know, this year it doesn't matter. If they want to
mm.
get angry, if they want it, everything is okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
don't
so much
remember.
peace of mind.
Yeah. I don't remember when I said that. But but um
I mean, yeah, just a
but
little
it's
while ago, you know,
true.
it was,
It's
yeah,
it's true. Yeah, we have to make our connection with God the center of our lives. And we have to feel okay about, that sometimes that means that other things that we used to spend our time, our consciousness on aren't going to serve us anymore. And there'll come a time where we realize that and we'll be ready to let them go. And just like you said, when that time comes, it will feel peaceful.
peaceful.
And we don't have to do it prematurely. We don't have to do it before we're ready when it doesn't feel so peaceful. We can just start little by little because the thing is if you light that match in your heart, when that match lights, be ready because it's going to turn into a wildfire. And that's just how this love spreads. So you start listening to kirtan, you start coming to a class like this, you start chanting, and slowly but surely you're going to feel like a fish out of water when you're not doing those things. And when that time comes, naturally, we're going to have to let other things go. And that's okay.
They were like worried that, oh, this is the family bonding time, and this is this time and that time, and you know, you have to be part of the family. And I said, I do have a family. I have a spiritual family. And
Oh.
then this is something that we cannot, the spiritual thing, the joy thing, we cannot explain to somebody, right? And we are not supposed to talk to somebody who doesn't care to know about Krishna or God. Nothing they want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, oh, we don't want anybody to be giving us lectures. So I said, okay, but then excuse us.
Mm. Yes. Yeah. That's that's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I share. Mariah wrote something in the.
Oh yeah, please will you read it for us too, Shakti?
She wrote such a beautiful class. It's all here. Such a perfect, complete summary of Krishna consciousness. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Mariah. Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes that wildfire like spreads and it manifests in realizing, hey, I don't really want to spend my time here anymore. And sometimes the opposite happens. Sometimes it's like, I've kind of been neglecting my family. I feel like I want to spend a little bit more time with them and share this love. Like I just want to present both different sides. But the point is, wherever it is, whatever, it should feel peaceful. It should feel peaceful and it should feel like it's coming from a place of love, not a place of, high and mighty or a place of running away but it should feel like naturally, like this is the next step in my spiritual life. And this is my next step of love. That's where it should feel, whether that's love for myself and my practice and God, or whatever that is. It should feel peaceful and it should feel full of love. And other people might not understand that, and that's okay. And we're so steady and peaceful that where that even used to might like push us off our horse. It's we can even respond to that from a place of steadiness and love. That's where we want to get, and that's where this practice takes us. Yeah. Nice. Thank you for sharing. And so the real focus of this verse is Krishna's message here isn't that spiritual life is about preparing to die. It's about preparing to love. That's spiritual life. When love for Krishna deepens, remembrance comes naturally. Not because we're trying to control the moment, but because our heart has already learned where to rest. And that's why it's peaceful and it's full of love. It's not controlling, it's not from a scarcity mentality, it's not from a place of pridefulness. It's peaceful and it's full of love. And so if we live our life serving, remembering, loving God, then whenever the end comes in a temple, on a plane, or in a hospital bed, he'll be right there because he never forgets his devotee. So stay fixed in devotion, keep serving, keep remembering, and let God handle the rest. Let God handle the rest. So should we move on to our last verse of the chapter? Our last text? Great shares
Yes.
today. Thank you all for sharing. So nice. Really makes things come alive when you all share. So when you're ready, Stella, 28.
Oh, hold on. Oh, I'm here. Okay. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Jai.
Yeah, this is the mic drop verse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is wrapping up chapter 8. Krishna's telling Arjuna, whatever results one may achieve through all of these Vedic, religious practices, studying the Vedas, sacrifice, charity, austerity, any discipline practice, all of that is automatically attained by one who simply practices devotional service. So in other words, bhakti includes everything. That's what else is happening here. It's not only it's like easy, it's peaceful, it's joyful, but we reap all of the rewards that any other path would get you. That ticket on that train, it includes like whatever cart you want to be in. It's like that's it. So in Vedic culture, things like giving charity, performing sacrifices, austerity, those are important spiritual activities. They help purify the heart, they elevate the consciousness, they build good karma, all these things, great things. But Krishna's saying all these activities, however noble, they're still limited if they're not connected to me. So when one practices bhakti yoga, again, all the benefits of everything else is automatically included. And bhakti doesn't just refine material life, it will, and it does. It's great. but it transcends it. It transcends it. And so Krishna is shifting Arjuna's focus from acting in the world to acting for a goal beyond the world. So instead of striving for temporary rewards, good karma, going to heaven, Krishna is inviting Arjuna to aim for the eternal, this loving connection with him. And this whole chapter has been about remembrance, renunciation, transcendence. And so Krishna's concluding by saying, stay fixed in yoga. But which yoga? Not necessarily Ashtanga yoga with all its complex postures and timings and austerities. No, the real yoga, the yoga of the heart, bhakti yoga. And this is bhakti yoga it's a yoga that connects us to this transcendental goal, God himself. And this is why Krishna calls it the most confidential knowledge. That's the next chapter we're getting to. This is when the heart is connected to God. And when that happens, one naturally achieves the results of every other path, right? Without separately pursuing them. Just like if you receive $1 million, you automatically have all the tens, hundreds, thousands in it. You don't have to collect them one by one. And so in the same way, when you love God, everything else, peace, wisdom, fulfillment, liberation, it's included automatically. So that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Just by remembering, by serving, by loving God, you gain everything that all other forms of spiritual practice are trying to reach. Pretty amazing, right? And Krishna not only reveals deep truths in the Gita, he also teaches us how we're meant to receive them. And this point is important because this wisdom this is why you can't just pick up the Gita and read it by yourself and get to the level that you could if you're doing it in the association of devotees, of people that are of seekers, spiritual seekers that are trying to develop this love for God. Because the wisdom, it's not meant to be dissected through speculation or academic debate. It's not about even like mastering philosophy for the sake of knowledge. You know, if you're in a college course and you're just trying to study the books and try to remember them for the sake of remembering them. But what's just as important, and this is funny because I just said this at the beginning of class, it's about hearing from someone who genuinely loves God. And when that happens, when we hear from a devotee, that love carries power. It awakens something within us. It's like the fire in my heart lights the fire in your heart, and vice versa. And in that, when that fire starts to light, the faith starts to grow. Doubts start to soften. Devotion naturally begins to blossom in the heart. And so even a little bit of faith is enough to begin. And when we sincerely seek the company of these like-minded souls and we hear the Gita with humility, with true understanding, right? This starts to awaken inside us, right? And we really start to understand the Gita on a deeper level. And I'm feeling like many of you probably feel like I feel like that in studying the Gita with you all. You know, you realize it on a deeper level than when you just read the text on your couch by yourself. Yeah, this happens when we do this together, when we do this with like-minded souls, with people who are also striving to awaken this love in their heart. So through that connection, service arises. And with that service, our misconceptions about God begin to disappear. And then in that, this is when the Gita stops feeling like theory and it starts feeling like relationship. This is the journey that Krishna takes us on and that we're all having together here. It's not theory, it's relationship. And that's why we wake up, we're like, it's a Monday or Thursday, we're like, I can't wait to come here, read the Gita, study the Gita, because we're developing relationship. It doesn't take a lot of discipline to come here and study because we're not trying to, memorize lines, and it's not like a intellectual gymnastic. It's a relationship. It's living, it's breathing. We all feel it. We're all being transformed by it. And that's what carries us through. And that's the power of the Gita. And that's the power of studying the Gita in the association of people that are also trying to develop that fire. It comes alive. And in that, we can take it outside. We start to feel God's presence in our daily lives, in our hearts, in everything we do. So, and this is when the Gita stops becoming about collecting verses or even knowledge, but it becomes about deepening our love. And it's that love that guides the soul home to God's eternal abode, this place of everlasting joy and divine connection. That's how we get the ticket, right? It's that love. It's not how many slokas you know, how much knowledge you have, how much you can store in your head. No, it's how much your heart's transformed. And that's how we do it. We get together and we study this together. So I just say one more thing, and then I want to hear from you guys for the rest because I just have one more concluding thought here. And that is just to sum this text up, that the real perfection of life isn't found in ritual, philosophy, or moral achievement. It's found in pure love for God. And when that love becomes steady, everything else falls into place. And that's Krishna's closing message in this chapter. It's simple, but it's profound. He's saying, yes, there are many ways to advance spiritually, many ways through study, sacrifice, charity, meditation. But when you practice bhakti yoga, you gain all of these results and more. So just stay connected to me. That's the real success. And it's beautiful and it's reassuring. So that's the end of this chapter. Shakti, I want to hear your realization.
I'm sitting here and I'm just crying. I'm just like not like crying, but like I just have such emotion. Like my heart feels like I need to massage it. Like it's so, I feel, first of all, when I wasn't gonna get on time, I was like, no, I have to go on time. I have to be there with my family. I have to be there. And it was so it was a challenge of my, do I stay here? I'm doing arty, right? Like, or do I go, my family? And now I'm just like what you're saying is so, it's really opening my heart in such a way that I'm so, I feel so grateful. I feel so connected. I see, like Kay was saying, like I see the changes in my life where if someone's not messaging me back, whatever, those things aren't important. Like all day yesterday, I spent listening to the Nectar of Devotion. Like that's what I did. That was my day, like really pretty much. And it's like that, and that makes my soul happy. It makes me feel connected to my friends that are seekers, my spiritual family, and to Krishna. And then I'm going to read, Mariah says, 100%, this class has done that for me. My life continues to transform just by being part of this class. Misconceptions, this is really, misconceptions have been rewritten because of this class. And that really touched me. Like misconceptions, they really have, like things that you think are a certain way. You're like, oh, it wasn't like that. Like you think back. I don't know. It made a lot of sense to me. So thank you for sharing that, Mariah.
Mm. Yes, that's the practice. That's the power of this practice. Thank you all. Thanks, Shakti. Appreciate you. You texted me this morning and said, "Hey, I'm going to be late." And when I saw your name on my phone, I was like, "Oh no, I hope she's not telling me she can't come." But then you still came, so it's good. Aaron, I'm so glad you just raised your hand because I was going to call on you. So that's perfect. What do you have for us today, Aaron?
I apologize. I am driving to work right now, but I was just thinking, and I think Katie mentioned it earlier. I very much resonate with the fact that like whatever is discussed is like super pertinent to like my this day or like where I am in life. And I think something that I'm realizing, although I'm going to share, but I don't know if it really is going to make sense, is that, you know, what we're talking about with like, bringing Krishna into our life, like I've obviously experienced a big difference in my life, right? I actually went to a play over the weekend, and there was a line about how you're born alone and you die alone. And it made me think of, Satyananda Swami's retreat, when he was talking about you were born with one person by your side and you die with one person by your side. And um, that's like such a radically different perspective, right? Like it's just one number different, but changes everything. And like I feel that, like, that really, really resonates with me, and has, like, I think, transformed my spiritual life and my faith. And yet at the same time, I definitely feel crises of faith. Like I can see in my life where I doubt, divine timing, and I don't, just believe, and I fight it. And I think, like a week ago, I had asked, like, how do you develop faith? And I think it's because, well, no, not that I think it's because, I felt like a little timid even asking the question, because I was like, is it blasphemous to even like ask that, or to admit that, like, there are gaps in one's faith? And so, I think just all of this conversation here today is, I don't think it's blasphemous challenging a group of like devoted people to be like, I actually feel a little less devotion in this area. um and I guess I'm just like starting to realize that, it's it is the process, right? Like it is the practice. It is why we start, like you said, with some chanting and some kirtan and some japa. You do a little, and it grows. And I think I've shared this before, but like I just want to have full faith. I want to stop fighting. I want to, I know the only thing I can control is my reaction, yet I pretend to control so much more, right? So I think it's, just that reminder of like, I want to be somewhere where I'm not, but I can't pretend, right? Like you can't pretend to be more advanced than you are. So like, sitting with that doubt, and obviously it's a lot better sitting with that in this group. So thank you all.
Wow. So real. And, I feel like it'd be more of an offense to say that you have zero doubts and you've got it all figured out, because you'd be lying to everybody and yourself, which is the most damaging, because when you lie to yourself, you're like halting your progress. That's it. But when you're saying, hey, look, I'm not there. I want to be there. Krishna, please help me be there. Krishna sees that. He sees that sincere heart. He sees that sincere effort, and he'll pull you right in. And it might take some time. It might take some time, but it will happen. And he'll connect you with sincere, like-minded souls to walk on the journey with, that, and your heart will open. And as your heart opens, your doubts will be dispelled. Just like we said, that's the path. And I love that you said, I want that, because Krishna heard that. Krishna hears that. Krishna sees that. And he'll do that. So get ready, because he'll do that, and it'll be a ride. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for being so real and vulnerable.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Like listening to Aaron, it touches me so much. And then sometimes you have those, oh, I've memorized 5 shlokas. It's like, and they tell you, wow, Pritzi, I memorized 5 shlokas. Isn't that great? And it's like, but they're not really, are they living like you said, like, it's not about memorizing the shlokas. Why are you memorizing shlokas? So you can be like, I memorized shlokas. Who cares? Like, are you living the life of are you serving? Are you, um, are you happily, sharing your love with others, right? Like that's, I think the sincerity will win every time.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, you could be serving or you could be trying to share your love with others and your heart isn't really there. So even what's even like more than that is your where's your heart? And in that, we don't always know because somebody could memorize slokas too and they're doing it because they want to remember them, in difficult times or they want to connect more with God or and that's a beautiful thing too. So it's so much more like what's the state of your heart, and I feel like that's what you were saying. What's the state of your
Right.
heart?
Like, why are you like, what's behind
Yeah, right. Yeah,
this? So
yeah,
yes, I'm not saying that memorizing them isn't a good thing.
yeah,
It's
right.
it's I think like I have a friend in who will do service. She does service, but every time she does it, she tells me about it. Like
Mm,
I'm like
right,
I'm like, should I be doing more service? Like I started to get like a complex, and it's like, I feel like service. I'm not saying you can't tell people. I'm just saying service is done.
right.
You just do your service. You have to share with.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
and I know you're very sensitive to other people's energies too. Like you pick it up. I know that about you. Like you can feel that. And in that, I'm also very sensitive to people's energies. So we have to be careful like, if we're associating with people that are doing service to tell people that they're doing service, then it will happen to us because that's just natural. And especially those that are sensitive to feel that more easily than others. Yeah, totally agree, Shakti. Stella, or is this Kalachandji?
Yeah, yes. I just think that Aaron's question and point is just so essential, and what you're saying too. And sometimes I just remind myself that I mean our hearts aren't always ready for everything all the time, and that Krishna's not going anywhere. Like
Hmm.
Krishna's always there, and however long it takes us, and wherever we are, like Krishna's still there. Um, and I just try to remind myself of that wherever we are, it's okay. And then it's not like our hearts, we can't force our hearts. That's something that happens and sometimes right away and sometimes over years. So I just thought that's such a beautiful thing. And thank you. And your response was so beautiful.
Mm, yes. So nice. I like that too. Earlier when I talked about listening to Taylor Swift, when I like Taylor Swift, like I'm into Taylor Swift. There's times I listen to her songs on repeat, and it's like there's no shame in that. But it's like the more that add bhakti to your life, the more that you'll seek shelter in other things. And that's the process. But that's not to say wherever you are is beautiful, and it's a process for all of us and a journey. And where we are is where we are. And it's where we are, take shelter of God in whatever way you can and let God work magic in your life. That's it. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Kalachanji. Really nice reminder. Thank you. Anybody else before we end for the day? Such nice shares. I see Amrita joined us. Welcome, Amrita. Okay. Well, we'll come back on Monday and we'll do our chapter 8 summary review. Thank you all for coming. Yes, Mariah is saying thank you all for the shares. Yes, I agree. Thank you all for the shares. It's so beautiful being with you all, hearing from you all. Oh, now we get to see Erin in person. Hi, Erin. So nice. Okay, my friends. Well, we'll see you on Monday. Thank you. Haribol.